Yellow Vest protesters turned out in their thousands in Paris over the weekend. Even Superman made an appearance. Their villain, Emmanuel Macron, whose pro-business reforms have earned him the nickname President of the Rich.
These are people who don't want to let go of anything. They've lived in it, it's their world, fraud and self-interest. They've no reason to let go, and it's the same for us. We don't know anything else but misery, so we're best enemies.
The protests come ahead of a 3-month-long national debate that will be held online and in town halls across the country. It's meant to serve as a platform for protesters to raise their concerns over high living costs.
Our taxes are too heavy and too many, and we can only cut taxes by cutting spending. What the people have told us is the government can't make these decisions on its own. The French people want to be involved in these public decisions.
Macron's government has already approved a subsidized minimum wage hike, tax cuts, and better benefits for pensioners. But in a letter on Sunday, Macron said he won't reinstate a wealth tax that was scrapped in 2017, a move that benefited the rich.
Macron's already clearly said he won't reconsider certain things, so we can see where the debate is going. It's just to keep people patient and not give them anything. We're not in favor of it.
The pollster Sebipov says Macron's popularity sits at a record low of 23%. Far-right politicians want to capitalize on this discontent to win more European Parliament seats in elections this May.
For voters, what's at stake is clear. It will be about beating Macron.
Macron has promised the nationwide debate will influence policymaking. But if he wants the weekend warfare to end, he'll need to persuade protesters he can be a hero, not just for the wealthy, but for everyone else. Paolo Montecillo, TRT World.
Let's get more on this now from our editor-at-large, Craig Copetas, who joins us now from Paris. Hi, Craig. It looks like the Yellow Vest movement is growing by the tens of thousands if the latest protests are anything to go by. Why doesn't Emmanuel Macron seem to be getting through to them?
Well, because their interests are divergent. It is as simple as that, Oscar. They're just coming from two different places. And this 3-4 month debate that's going to go on will be exceptionally painful to both sides. It could even lead to the creation of a sixth republic, because what the protesters are asking for has no mechanisms within the French Constitution, within the French Fifth Republic, to actually take place.
Let's talk about this proposed national debate. It was something that Emmanuel Macron suggested at the height of these protests. What do you expect to come of it? Do you think it might actually sway or change the government's position on any of their policies?
I highly doubt it's going to sway any of the government's positions. But having said that, we have already seen some significant rumbling within the French bureaucracy against some of Macron's changes. Now, we're going into the weeds here, but this is one of the core issues of the Yellow Vests. Macron had said that he wanted to side with big business and reduce the pay packages and the provisions which unemployed people get if they're fired or laid off. Now, those provisions, what someone gets when they're laid off or fired, are adjudicated by what's known as the Court de Prud'homme here. It's a 3-person tribunal. And the tribunal is buckling against Macron's decision, and they're continuing to award money to people who have been laid off or fired in France, particularly high amounts to people over the age of 50, because as the court says, after you're 50 years old, it's darn hard to get a new job. This is something that is going to enrage Macron over the next few months.
And just quickly, Craig, Bruno Le Maire, the economy minister, has basically told journalists today that the government has a duty to deliver on its election promises to reform the economy. It's what got them into power in the first place. Is he right in light of the 9th week of protests?
You know, I sometimes think that the finance minister and Macron can't see the forest from the trees here, Oscar. It's not, in the first instance, a question of reforming the French economy. It's a question of reforming the deeply entrenched bells and whistles of the French bureaucracy that will allow economic growth. The French system, as it is right now, does not jive with globalization or entrepreneurship in any way, shape, or form. If you want that, you've got to go either to the UK or to the United States or Asia. You don't come to France.
No, interesting. Craig Copetas in Paris, thank you as always.